All right, we are back with another pick'em video. Going to be going over my favorite plays for the NBA today. Definitely attacking some early value today because I'm looking for a bounce back spot. It finally happened. Our 2 week heater has come officially to an end. I did only give out 2 plays yesterday because it was Sunday, just not a whole bunch of time, and wasn't loving the board in general, even once I did a deep dive into it. But we did go 0-2. Again, you got to kind of respect the transparency here. I know a lot of people brush over their losses. I talk about every single one of my plays. So if you've been watching for the past few days, no, I'm not just saying, "Oh, look at all the ones we won," and hiding the ones we lost. These are the 2 video picks I gave out. Now, I did talk about a whole bunch of other picks or potential picks you could go to in terms of like breaking down the games because I kind of just went through that because we were only doing 2 picks. And a lot of those did come to fruition. For instance, the Celtics did win by 40, and Porzingis didn't play the fourth quarter, but he did grab like 3 rebounds in a row early or like late in the first quarter or the second quarter, one of those quarters, to make it a little bit sweaty, and then grabbed his 8th rebound to hook us a little bit later on in that day. And then for the Giddy pick, that's just a bad pick. I was expecting him to not get 25 minutes or 25 minutes max, even with Jalen Williams, even with Isaiah Joe out of the game. But that didn't happen. He ended up almost playing 40 minutes. It was a double overtime game. But he came out of the gates hot, was playing really well. And his plus minus, I think, might have been the best on the team. So he deserved that. Again, 0-2, we'll take it on the chin. I think this is a great, not like learning, but like a teaching aspect, I guess, if you're new to betting, for how important bankroll management is. As you can see right now, I have about $3,000 in my PrizePicks account. And my unit sizes are always going to stick to about 1 to 3% of my bankroll. So if you come in here and you're a new player, I'm sure I'm going to hear a few people in the comments down below. Even though we've won the past like 2 weeks of video picks, there's always going to be those people that you lose trust very quickly when you put 50% of your bankroll into 2 plays. And don't understand that this is a long-term game. If you think that any person that is giving out picks and researching picks, even though I put hours into these plays, anything can happen. It's unpredictable. Someone could turn an ankle and your over is now horrible because he's out and misses the rest of the game. Or, Josh Giddey, he's an NBA player. He can get hot. He can make shots on a given night, even though he hasn't all season. So it's unpredictable. That's why bankroll management is so huge. I'm never throwing 20% of my bankroll into any one play because I know how unpredictable it is. So you take this on the chin. If you stick to your guns, you're going to be, profitable in the long run, attacking, not EV, doing your research, looking at the hit rates, looking at matchups, knowing the game and things like that. So it is a learning curve, or not a learning curve, a teaching aspect or teaching point for the new bettors. And just if you have $500, if you have $100, put $5 plays down. It's not as sexy as winning a $1,000 bet or whatever. But when you're throwing $5 to win $125 in a 6-man, that still feels pretty good. And you start building that up, and then your unit size can grow. So sick of looking at this loss. So we got some great plays for us today. So let's jump into the board and attack some value. But quickly before we do that, I do want to say, if you are someone that watches sports or interested in sports betting, if you're a new sports bettor, if you're someone that's been doing it for a while, I highly recommend coming and joining our community that we're continuing to grow, each and every day. It is the Rich Picks Discord channel. It's the official Discord of my YouTube channel. And I'm running a promotion right now, just kind of scrolling through some wins from last night, but running a promotion right now for the Rich Club where you can get 2 months free until Thursday, February 8th. That's 2 months, not 1 month, 2 months free. All you got to do is sign up using any of my affiliate links down below, any of my codes down below. All the information's in the description of the video. For PrizePicks, for Underdog, Sleeper, Chalkboard, Dabble, is a new fan DFS platform, or DG Fantasy. If you sign up for any of those, hit me up in the Discord DMs. Say, hey, I signed up for your code. Here's the screenshot of me using your code, and then I will cross-reference that with my point of contacts at the company. But if you want a free trial for this Discord, that's all you gotta do. Just sign up, hit me up, and you can get in here. We've had a lot of people join recently. We have a whole lot of fun. We've been jumping in the voice chat, kind of chefing up some plays together, putting our brains together to make some great plays. So that's the plug for the Discord. Definitely highly recommend trying it out, and would love to have you. So now let's jump into the board. I got a bunch of good plays for us today. I'm going to go over 3 or 4 today. And again, we're tacking some early value. And right off the bat, it's going to be right here. Kyrie Irving, 4.5 assists is going to be our first play going up against Philadelphia. But we got to remember there is no Joel Embiid in this one. So hopping over to RotoWire, this is another sponsor of the channel. They're an awesome site to give out a whole bunch of statistics on who's out of the game, how players play with those particular teams, our players out. So it's a cool website. But jumping over here, we do see Kyrie Irving is probable and Luka Doncic is questionable here. If Luka sits, this is a ridiculous line. But even if he doesn't sit, I really like Kyrie in this matchup. We've been going to guards against Philadelphia without Embiid, and he's been very quietly killing this line. He's having a really good year. Hasn't played a whole bunch of games, but when he does, he's been very effective. So a 1.5 point spread in favor of Dallas, actually. So I think Kyrie's going to have a great spot here. So let's go open up his page on Outlier. This is another partner of the channel, friend of the channel. It's my favorite tool, one of my favorite tools for sure in terms of matchups, hit rates, and things like that. It's got a seamless interface, and they just recently had a huge update that's giving us access to dunk lines, statistics on how often a player dunks, which we've been going to in the Discord, and it's been awesome. Let's go to his 4.5 assists for Kyrie Irving. We do see the hit rate's been awesome. 7 of the last 10 games, he's gone over this. In terms of 2023 as a whole, it's a 67% hit rate. And again, we talked about the matchup. Not going to look at this just because this is very much skewed with Embiid in the lineup. This is a whole different defense. Without Embiid, they've been pretty susceptible to guards having good games against them. So I love to see this. When we look at games without Luka Doncic, who again is questionable for tomorrow, and we can see it's actually 100% hit rate. All 5 of the games that Luka's missed this year, Kyrie has cashed, even having a 10 assist game, 6, 7. So absolutely love to see that. If Luka doesn't play, though, we did just see 67% of the year. Still looking pretty good, especially with going up against the Embiid-less 76ers. So really liking Kyrie. The head-to-head you can also look at. This was both March games last year, so when he was on the Mavs. Not sure if Embiid played. He probably did because he played a bunch of games last year, but he had 6 assists and 5 assists. So that is good head-to-head news, but this was last year, so take it for a grain of salt. But really, really good hit rates in terms of the season without Luka, with Luka, all the different things. So, and it's not just the hit rate. Let's go over to DG Fantasy. Again, if you sign up for DG Fantasy, this is another tool that just attacks market value. If you have questions about this, you can ask me in the comments and I'll answer any questions, or in the Discord. But this pretty much shows you across different markets on FanDuel, on DraftKings, where do they have the lines compared to PrizePicks, and am I attacking good value? And actually, you can see it right here popping up right on top. 4.5 assists for Kyrie Irving. They're giving it a 54.77% chance to hit. Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook out there, has this at minus 174. DraftKings, one of my favorite websites or platforms to look at in terms of odds, just because they've been doing fantasy stuff for a long time now. They're at minus 145. Everywhere else is like minus 130 or minus 145. This is ridiculous odds that we're getting right now. And if you're in the Discord, you got these plays like 30 minutes ago. So when that does get bumped up, I think you honestly could still go to this, especially if there's no Luka. Loving this line. So 4.5 assists for Kyrie Irving. That is going to be our first play. Do want to go over to the projection model, though. Again, over on RotoWire, this is one of their perks, having a nice projection model to look at. And we can see for Kyrie Irving, they are predicting a little bit over on the assist, 4.89. So in terms of like the full game stats, they're not liking his PRA or anything like that. But they are liking that assist line, which is actually kind of nicer to see. They're predicting, he's probably not going to have the best game, but he might get the dimes. So really liking this Kyrie, everything pointing towards the over. And that is going to be our first play of the day. All right, so the next guy we're going to be talking about is someone we haven't gone to in a while, but it's going to be Trae Young. And it's going to be his assist line, which is not here anymore. Okay, I'm not gonna go into this one too much because it's probably getting bumped is what's happening. But his assist line was at 9.5, very much like the Clint Capella 9.5 rebounds line that we went to the other day. As someone that knows sports, that watches basketball specifically, when I saw Capella at 9.5 rebounds, that just seems too low to me. He's a guy that can go out there and get 15 rebounds on any given night, and he crushed that line. So same thing here with Trae, kind of an intuition popping into my head when I saw 9.5 assists for Trae Young. Again, this was a pick we got in the Discord, but it's good to attack value. The things do move very frequently. Every pick that I play is probably going to get moved. That the Porzingis line that we went to in the video picks 7.5, it did get moved to 7. So every line I play is probably going to get moved. But if it does miraculously come back at 9.5, I would definitely go to that for Trey. If it goes to 10, honestly, you could probably still play it. But I like the matchup for Trae Young. I think a few people will sit for the Clippers because they're on a back-to-back, namely Paul George potentially. So that really good defense, again, probably takes a hit if one of those guys sits. So Trey was going to be our second pick, but that's okay. We're actually going to move to the other side of the court in that same game. We can go to Mason Plumlee, another guy that we definitely have not been talking about much this year. But we're going to go to his points and rebounds at 18.5, and I'm going to be going under here. Now, I did just talk about them being on a back-to-back, and Zubac has been out for a while. He did return last game, so this is interesting because he's not on any injury report right now. But Zubac could end up playing or not playing in this game, which would definitely hurt this line a little bit. But kind of banking on the fact that if he does play, we're getting an extremely good value at 18.5 rebounds for Mason Plumlee. So if you're watching this a little bit later in the day, maybe look at that injury news for Zubac and maybe look into maybe this line's moved a little bit or something like that. So let's jump into his line though over on Outlier, kind of see visually what I'm talking about here. We're going to Mason Plumlee. We'll see his 18.5 points and rebounds. We see the hit rate's pretty freaking good. 7 to 10 games he's gone under this. 83% of the year he's gone under this. And again, the minutes are all over the place, especially at the beginning of the year. But then when Zubac got hurt, he started seeing a little bit more time. The matchup against Atlanta is a red matchup here, but they don't have Clint Capella, so that's another injury news. Clint Capella is out, Sadiq Bey potentially out. If they go to Onyeka Okongwu, that's the other center on that team. He's a little bit more agile, and that might mean that the Clippers kind of counter that with a Daniel Tice type of guy, like someone who's a little bit more faster in terms of moving on his feet. Daniel Tice is not the fastest guy in the world, but a little bit quicker than Mason Plumlee, I'd say. But yeah, I like the matchup here. 15 of 18 games on the under, just in terms of the entire year, and then in games with Zubac in the lineup again. Not showing up as injured just yet. It's 100%, 9 of 9 games, and he really, really hasn't been close. So really liking this line. When Zubac does play or doesn't play, though, I do want to show you that too. I'm not hiding anything here. It's a 6 of 9 line. So kind of like that Kyrie line we just talked about. When Luka plays, it's still solid, but when Luka doesn't play, it's looking really, really good. Same thing here. When Zubac plays, it still looks pretty solid. Sorry, other way around. When Zubac plays, it looks really, really good. When Zubac doesn't play, it's still, pretty solid. So I like Plumlee here. I think Tice gets a little bit more run against this Onyeka Okongwu Atlanta Hawks. But we can see the odds over here on DG Fantasy, kind of talk about those, see if we're getting some good value. And we will see. I'm going to go into Mason Plumlee. Load that. Internet's slow. And we're seeing a few lines popping up. So points, if you want to just go to points on the under, I'm really liking the 18.5 points and rebounds. That kind of means he has to get his points line and he's got to be rebounding the ball pretty well. Minus 128 over on FanDuel, minus 130 over on DraftKings, and pretty much across the board, minus 130. So we are definitely attacking some value. It's not like this is favored on the over. 52.83% chance to go under here. And then in terms of our projection model, get Paul George out of there. In terms of our projection model, it's also looking really good. Mason Plumlee's unders, all favored on the under, and we're looking at points and rebounds. They're projecting 16.38. I think that's actually his best line, yeah. In terms of projection, lower. 18.5, they're projecting 16.3. So another one where everything is pointing in the right direction, and that usually makes for a really good play. So Kyrie over 4.5 assists, and Mason Plumlee under 18.5 points and rebounds. All right, so the third pick, we're going to be talking a first half line here, and we're going to be going to someone that we've gone to a few times. It is a little bit different of a line, and it's going to be Draymond Green. Again, we've cashed this now twice in a row at his 4.5 points line, but we're going to be going to his 10.5 PRA going up against the Brooklyn Nets. Not the best matchup in the world in terms of a center or power forward, whatever you want to call Draymond in the given night, but he has been absolutely crushing this line. and has found success against this team, I think, in past years. So let's go open up his page over on Outlier, kind of see visually what we're talking about, his hit rates, his matchup, and things like that. Let's go to Draymond. We'll see the line, popping up at a really good hit rate. Points and assists is also a pretty solid hit rate, but on the whole year, Draymond's been crushing this line. 80% of his last 10 games, he's gone over this. In 2023, it's an 82% hit rate. The games he misses, he misses bad. Both of these actually are due to the minutes, only 9 minutes in this game, only 1 minute in this game. This is when he chokeholded Rudy Gobert. And then I don't know what happened in this game, but other than barring chokeholds, if he's not going to be out there kicking someone in the nuts or choking someone out, he should get, his normal 15 minutes or so. And again, he's been crushing this line all year. We'll look a little bit later into some injuries, but first is the matchup. Brooklyn is a pretty solid matchup in terms of points, rebounds, assists. It's a very middle of the road. Do want to point out two centers, though. Specifically, the points is not there. But again, Draymond's not a huge point scorer. All he's got to do is get 5, 6, 7, 8 points would be great. He can really do his damage in the rebounds department, in the assist department, and he can do each of those. So he can get 7 rebounds, he can get 6 rebounds, he can get 7 assists. You never know what he's going to do. 8 assists right here. So kind of very volatile in terms of how he contributes, but he does contribute. And then in terms of the injury news, that's what I wanted to show right here. Chris Paul has been out for a decent amount of games now, and he's crushed this line pretty much every single time. 9 of 10 games without Chris Paul. So again, just love to see that. Chris Paul is a distributor, so someone with the ball a lot. And when Paul's on the bench, Draymond has a lot of more opportunity to get some assists. And he hasn't been diming that well in the first half, but if he can go get 4, 3 even, that should be enough for us. So really liking Draymond in terms of the hit rate, especially on this one. And then when we really dive into the matchup here, points allowed is not the best, but everything else is looking pretty solid. But yeah, loving this Draymond line. They don't have first half lines on DG Fantasy, so I'm not going to show anything over there. But we can go to his RotoWire projection, kind of see what they're predicting, if they think he's going to have a bad game or bad in terms of his lines. They also don't have first half just because it's not as researchable. But we can see Draymond pull up his lines right here, and we can see they are projecting on the over, a lot of blue here for his whole game. So PRA popping up right here, they're projecting 27.03. If he's getting 11 in the first half, he should be getting 22. So they're on the over for sure. So really, really liking this play for Draymond. This will probably get bumped up to 11.5 or 12, but getting some great value here at 10.5. So I did want to give you guys 4 picks, but that Trae Young line did get bumped up. It actually got taken off the board. So Trae Young's assists will be, kind of the 4th honorary video pick. But we have Kyrie Irving over 4.5 assists, Mason Plumlee under 18.5 points and rebounds, and then Draymond Green over 10.5 first half PRA. And that's going to do it for the video picks. Now I'm thinking about it, you could definitely get that 9.5 Trae Young assist line over on Sleeper, over on Chalkboard. So you could definitely attack that there. And that kind of rolls right into, again, want to plug the Discord one more time. We're giving free access for 2 months. All you got to use is one of my codes to sign up to PrizePicks, Underdog, Sleeper, Chalkboard, Dabble, or DG Fantasy. They're all great apps. They all throw promotions at you. You'll get the 100% deposit match as well. So you're going to get $100 of free playthrough money when you sign up, and you can get up to $500 on Sleeper. So definitely check the links in the description for any of that stuff. We'd love to have you over here. I'm not trying to sell it to you guys that hard, but I'm trying to grow a nice community, and we've been seeing that growth over the past few weeks a lot. So I really appreciate everyone watching. If you could leave the video a like and comment anything down below, I'd highly appreciate that. And in terms of the video today or yesterday, I guess, again, 0-2 is not the best in the world, but you do have to understand we're not going to win every single day, even though it might seem like that over the course of the past few weeks that we've been killing it. So I appreciate everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.